In this episode of Pop Culture Weekly, I'm returning to Middle Earth with the cast of Prime Video's Lord of the Rings of Power. Let's go!
Welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon from iHeartRadio. Your pop culture news, views, reviews, and celebrity interviews on all the movies, TV, music, and pop culture you crave weekly. Here's Kyle McMahon.
Net. What's up, and welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon. I, of course, am Kyle McMahon, and I am here for you, to talk about pop culture and, interview our favorite actors and performers and entertainers and the people that create and all of that stuff. And I love what I do, and it's all because of you. Today, I'm returning to Middle Earth once again to speak with Prime Video's The Lord of the Rings of Power cast. Once again, we just had him on a few episodes ago, but there's a lot that has gone on in Middle Earth since then. So I am going to be talking to Charlotte Brandstrom, who is the director, and Alex Disanoff, who is the cinematographer. And then, of course, I talk with Charlie Vickers once again, Sauron himself, Markella Kavenagh, Eleanor Brandyfoot, and Charlie Vickers, who plays Sauron, is back, as well as Benjamin Walker and Robert Aramayo, who plays Elrond. Benjamin Walker, of course, plays High King Gil-galad. Cynthia Addai-Robinson, who plays Queen Regent Muriel, and Markella Kavenagh returns, who plays Nori Brandyfoot. So let's just get right into it. We have so much to cover in Middle Earth. We'll start off with director extraordinaire Charlotte Brandstrom, along with cinematographer Alex Disanoff.
Thank you both so much for speaking with me. And congratulations on the success of Lord of the Rings of Power. I've been a fan since day one. It's such an incredible, epic series. And I wonder, as these numbers have come out, 40 million people have watched since, in the last 11 days. How does that feel as creators for you to know something you've put your, heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears into is resonating around the world?
I mean, of course, it feels, makes you happy and satisfied and everything. But it also feels like our work, or my work, is done somehow. You have let it out, you let it go. So, when you hear this, it's extremely, satisfying, and makes you actually really pleased and happy that many people can see your work. But there's not much you can do about it anymore.
That's true. How about for you, Alex?
Yeah, I think it's obviously really a unique experience to have, your work seen by so many people. But again, it is like you can't control it once it's out of your hands. And so it's just it's kind of icing on the cake, I guess. Even if one person saw it and liked it, we still did it. And we're proud of what we did. So I think it's just, again, it's kind of a nice little icing on the cake.
Yeah, I love that. Charlotte, were you, and actually this is for both of you, but were you fans of the work before? And the films are obviously, as a film buff, iconic, and if you were fans of the books and the films, do you feel a sense of responsibility or nervousness, or are you able to be like, I'm gonna do my spin on this?
Well, I didn't really need to buy spin, because obviously our stories are the second age and Peter Jackson's films are the third age. So it's completely different time. So it could also be different since it's a real prequel. I'm a big fan of Peter Jackson. I was a big fan of the features. We've seen them many times, and I always refer to them because I love them. And I had read the books. I had read the books when I was 15. My parents had given them to me. So I knew of them, and I very, very much enjoyed reading. I only read the books once, but I've seen Peter Jackson's films probably many times. But thereafter, when we got these scripts, it's totally different, because it is obviously a second age. and also we made like Sauron a real character, that he was never that in Peter Jackson's film. So we wanted to make something different. And I feel like what the shortness wanted is to make him a real character, to understand where people were coming from, to understand their backgrounds. Even our troll has a background here.
Right.
And I believe I think series today is very much about character. So I think it was very exciting that way to actually give life to them. But early on.
Yeah.
Thousands of years before. So we had like a lot of freedom to do something different.
Yeah.
And Alex and I actually did, when we came in, we did the first season together as well. And we created that look for Mordor with the ashes and the orange light. And that was something completely different that we had free hands to do.
Yeah.
And you were very inspired by the fires, right?
Yeah, by real wildfires that I had seen in my own life, and kind of that, using real earth to inspire Middle Earth. And just from my own perspective, I was in high school when the movies came out, and they were really a huge influence on me. I remember the moment sitting in theaters during the Return of the King and saying, yeah, I think this is what I want to do. I want to make movies. And
Wow.
to kind of come full circle, get the call to kind of help bring Middle Earth to life again was a total dream come true for me. So
I love that so much. I got to say, I was, as a huge fan of the books and the films, I was nervous when I went to New York for the screener of the first couple of episodes, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's just, you guys did such an incredible job that I think for a lot of fans there was a bit of nervousness, like, how is this material going to be treated? And there's so much that is uncharted and hasn't been shown, and or even told. And it's just such an incredible job that you guys have done. And as a super fan, I can't thank you enough for that. So it's just, it's such another rewarding entry into this world that you guys have created.
thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you. And I appreciate both of you. Congratulations on the success. I can't wait to talk to you for season 3 of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Charlotte Brandstrom and Alex Disanoff. I love to hear about, the behind the scenes creators, which obviously these series and movies and entertainment that we love wouldn't exist without them. I love to hear, kind of what they do and their take on things. So it's awesome to hear from them. Next up, we're going to talk with Benjamin Walker and Robert Aramayo. As I mentioned earlier, Robert plays Elrond, which he has some big elf shoes to fill. And Benjamin Walker plays High King Gil-galad. So great pair to talk to. Let's get right into them. Benjamin Walker and Robert Aramayo.
Thank you both so much for joining me once again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, nice to see you, man.
Nice to see you. So first of all, congratulations. 40 million people have watched over, the first 11 days, which is just absolutely astonishing. Is that like, it's a number I can't fathom. Is that something that like even has registered with you?
Yeah, I don't really think about it.
I don't think about it. Best not to think about it.
Yeah. I'm excited that people are excited about it.
Yeah.
It does feel, I have a similar sensation as to when we've done Paul H at Comic-Con a couple of times. That it's just kind of humbling to be among peers and people that, love what you love. It's like when you're in high school and you're like, oh my God, you love Smashing Pumpkins too. Yeah. Like, you're like, oh, finding a kindred spirit. So it's nice to think that there's 40 million people that love something that you love.
I love that. And for you, but for both of you, such a theme for me in Rings of Power is journey, and whether that's personal journeys or literal journeys. How has your journey as actors led you to where you are in a place to be able to approach these roles that are, beloved?
Well, that's interesting. I think it's dangerous to revere something in a way that you forget to do the basics of the job. That in some ways the level of reverence for something can sidetrack you, as opposed to encourage you to reinvest in the 101 of how do we tell the story. You step onto an incredible set with wind cannons and fire bombs and mud and hundreds of extras and stunt people, and you can get into trouble if you allow that to not be a tool. You allow that to be a distraction from, yes, but in this moment, what are we trying to accomplish? What does the lore dictate? And just down to the minutia of, in this scene with Elrond, what is the story we want to tell, and how do we milk the most Tolkienian magic out of it that we can? So if anything, you have to embrace the humbling nature of it and just return to basics. Be aware that it is beloved and you are a fan, but if your fandom supersedes your ability to do the job, you're in trouble. It's like when you meet someone you've idolized for so long and then you can't speak. We don't want to find ourselves in that position, as opposed to approaching it like something we've done our background, we've done our preparation, we trust our support. The team we have assembled on set is the best on the planet. Now let's do the job.
I love that. It's a very mindful approach. Very mindful, very demure.
That's what the kids are saying these days. I'm told.
And how about for you, Robert?
Yeah, I was just thinking about, just to pick up off what Ben said there. It's like, I remember, like, in the first season, there was a lot of scenes between me and Ben where, like, we'd turn up usually in that round podium thing.
Yep.
And have these scenes, and one of the highlights for me, weirdly, was that in episode 5 or something like that, we have one scene together, me and Ben, which was like what it used to be in the first season. It was just me and Ben having a conversation about what we were going to do. And it's moments like that I really enjoy, because me and Ben, for example, I think we've got a very similar vocabulary on the work. And if you've got a teammate, if you've got somebody who you feel like you're really on a team with, and you're both working together just to tell this story and to make it as clear as possible, then if that's honored, then you can have loads of fun off of that. And it opens the door to have all these different conversations and creative conversations. But, so you feel thankful in that moment for having somebody who you feel like you're a teammate with. But it extends beyond actors as well to everyone you work with on the show, because there's just so many people that work on this, and they're all so passionate about it.
You have to double down in the fundamentals and return to the source material continuously. But that's also one of the joys of the job. Is one aspect is we get paid to read Tolkien for a living.
And it has worked. It all comes in concert beautifully. And as a fan of the work, the series is just an excellent, new, exciting chapter, if you will, for us. So thank you for that. Thank you both for speaking with me again. I can't wait for everybody to see the last couple episodes of season 2 of Rings of Power, only on Prime. Thank you.
Thank you. See you again soon.
Benjamin Walker and Robert Aramayo. Love to hear. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and I'm a huge Rings of Power fan. Prime Video has done such an incredible job with this series. And as a lifelong fan of the movies, the Lord of the Rings trilogy by Peter Jackson, who's a genius, and the Hobbit trilogy, I grew up with these movies. I had to read the books in schools, which I then continued to read on my own. Prime Video and the creators here have done such an incredible job with the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. It brings me right back and fills out, this universe that I love so much. So, in any event, next, Markella Kavenagh returns once again, and Cynthia Addai-Robinson. Let's jump right into it. Here we go.
Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. So, first of all, congratulations on the success of The Rings of Power. Over 40 million people watched in the last 11 days, which is insane.
Yeah.
When you hear numbers like that, are you just like, what? You know, I mean, it's just such a massive, massive number.
I have like no concept of what that is.
Yeah.
It's so abstract.
Yeah.
But
I
yes.
can't believe I'm literally like, it's really, I don't, when I think about it, I also think that for me, I just don't think I just really haven't, it has not registered in that way. And also when I'm in this room and there's a few people here and I forget that, I
forget that you're on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It is a wow. And I mean, it is, I think, to be part of something that's global in this day and age. I mean, I always think about the fact that people watch the show in different languages, in different countries. There's something really universal in the story. And, you know, when we travel the world and meet fans from all over the world, I think that's when it really sort of hits home that it's like, oh, this has reach beyond, you know, even sort of the areas that we spend time. So it's very cool. We're honored.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm a huge fan of the films, the books, the entire world. And I talked to many of you for season 1 in New York. And, I was just telling someone that I was really nervous when I went to the screening of the first few episodes because I didn't know what it was going to be. And I'm like, the books or the films, especially I grew up with, and they were so close to me and such a huge part of my journey as a film buff and hear what I'm doing today. And then it was just absolutely incredible, to watch, especially I got to see it on the big screen and all. And it was just, I'm like, wow, this is perfect. This fits in so well with everything. As actors, as creators, did you feel any kind of responsibility in any way to, this is the Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? It's not like a something that nobody's ever heard of before. It's a kind of a clean slate. This is a massive, massive property.
I think we feel all the responsibility. I would say that all of the sort of collective effort that you see, it's not just the cast that feels the responsibility. It's our showrunners and writers and producers and crew. It's everybody involved. With the same love and the same understanding that this holds so much importance to so many people. And everybody goes about it in a very thoughtful, considered way. I mean, I think if you've spoken to a few of us, then you would know and you can tell that, we're not just casually throwing this thing together. It takes us a long time to make this. There's a lot of conversation around it. There's a lot of collaboration. And we absolutely take that responsibility very seriously.
Yeah.
I love that. And for both of your characters, and many characters in the films, or in the films and the books and the series, journey is such a huge integral part of the story, whether that's a personal journey or a literal journey. Do you find, in doing this work that you can kind of relate to some of these, even though there's this fantastical element, at the heart of it, there's very real stories about, very real feelings that we all have and experiences that human or otherwise have. Do you put that into something like The Rings of Power, kind of setting aside, well, I wasn't, riding a dragon or something, but I did kind of have this kind of storyline, if you will, in my own life? Or is that harder on something like a fantasy?
I mean, I think in terms of bringing the personal idea, personal sense of journey to fantasy, I think that being in a fantasy series to me was a real eye-opener because I'd never really been as invested in the fantasy genre before, apart from books. In terms of cinema, it just wasn't something that I'd gravitated towards. And I think that this was amazing because fantasy, it's the same themes of love and loss and community and adversity and all of those things, but is in a fantastical context. And so in some ways I really understand why people and audiences go and really love seeing these series and the films and the books, because it's a way to confront your own whatever you're going through personally, but at a bit of a distance, with visual effects and music and a different world. It's not like a street you're recognizing, or so it is a kind of a way to really feel and be moved by these stories, but also be really entertained. So in that sense, I really love that you've brought up journeying, because I think, yes, journey is really important in these series and these books, but it's also what people are living day to day. So it's just taking the day to day and just heightening it in this magical, well, not magical, but these fantasy lands.
That's amazing. Thank you both so much. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait for everybody to see the last few episodes. And then we have a wait. But the last few episodes of The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power on Prime. Thank you both. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Markella Kavenagh and Cynthia Addai-Robinson. Love talking to them. Love having them on. And last but not least, Sauron himself, Charlie Vickers.
Hey, Charlie, great to speak with you again.
You too, Kyle. Good to see you.
It's been you as well. It's been a few weeks since we last talked, and in the meantime, 40 million people have watched in the first week or so. What is that like for you when you hear a number like that?
I mean, it's great. It's cool. I'm very removed from that world, but it's great to know people are watching and people are enjoying the show, and because ultimately you make it for fans of Tolkien and people to enjoy and take from it what they will. So it's cool to know that we're sharing it with the world.
Yes, I love that, and as a fan, I love everything that you and the entire cast and crew are feeding us. It is very very good. So, and I'm trying to be, again, as I always am when I talk to you, as spoiler free as possible. But there's a couple of episodes left, and you are for this season, you are in many ways a god, in many ways. Also being humanized in many ways. How was that for you as an actor to kind of be able to play a, first of all, iconic role that, but that has room for both of those sorts of things and everything in between?
I think that's part of the real challenge and joy of doing this character, right? Because we, like, the character has a lot of complexity and levels that are maybe not evident when you just sort of when you hear the name Sauron, because he's been popularized as the giant eye, and he serves the purpose of evil in this story. But if you go back through the Silmarillion and all the different writings of Tolkien, there is so much there about his character and his appreciation of art and craftsmanship and his desire for order and the healing of Middle Earth. And for me, it's like, that's the real challenge and privilege of the character, is having everything stem from that and not just being like, I'm evil going around twiddling my
twirling your mustache.
Yeah.
And do you find that when you play such a character, as you said, that's known through many generations and many cultures and languages, that there is any responsibility to the fandom or the man himself, or are you able to separate that and be like, okay, I'm not going to think about any of that. I'm going to be Charlie, putting myself into this character?
Of course, I understand that there's a huge amount of responsibility, and we see ourselves, I guess, as custodians of this world right now. And I don't really think about it. It's funny, I never really think about it when I'm filming. There's this extra level of expectation, but you can't help it when you're doing these tours. You're meeting so many people and so many amazing fans and the community, and you hear their voices and their critiques and the things they love. That's one of the most special parts of this job. And you just want to do it justice. So you do feel like that. But as far as when I'm actually on set, you're so far removed from that, and you're just in the bubble of making what you're making, that I can forget it, which is nice.
That is nice. And, it's interesting that you bring up, I didn't think about it until just now, but you are out there meeting people unrestrained. And, I'm sure at a much bigger level, I get, weird tweets and hate mail and all those kinds of things. And I'm sure you get it at a much higher level. What has been your most interesting kind of critique or fan reaction that you were taken back by, or called a security guard or something?
Yeah, what have I had? It was actually a memorable one sticks out. When I was filming the start of season 2, and one of the supporting artists, as I was walking to the loo, said, "Oh, that's not how Tolkien wrote the ending, was it?" And just kind of smiled at me and then walked away. And I was like, so that was quite a funny interaction. But I take it was very lighthearted. It was
Right.
a reference to the end of season 1. But that's one that sticks out to me. But everyone's always so nice and kind. I mean, at San Diego, people were just so loving in everything they offered, and really appreciative of the hard work that everyone's putting in. Yeah.
And I think that's a testament to you and everybody's work on the series, because it is just such a enjoyable journey, both literally and physically, for the viewer and for many of you. So, Charlie, thank you so much once again for speaking with me. I can't wait for everybody to see the rest of season 2 of Rings of Power, and I'll talk to you for season 3, only on Prime.
I can't say enough about the Lord of the Rings of Power. I was talking to many of you online on Reddit and Instagram about, each episode as it was debuting, so we could talk together. And it's been so awesome to hear your thoughts while I share my thoughts and, get different insights from you on, what you think of the show. It does have some haters, but it is a hugely successful show. I mean, within a week, like 40 million people had watched the first 3 episodes of Rings of Power. Rings of Power is also a top 5 all-time season for Prime Video in its first 11 days. And it's been number 1 most watched on the top 10 of Prime Video since season 2 debuted. Prime Video also hit huge numbers overall for season 1 and 2, with nearly 150 million people around the world watching season 1. And now with the season finale about to air, 55 million global viewers for season 2 in just a few weeks. It's pretty incredible. It's 200 million people watching your series. It does a great job. I want to know what you think. Hit me up on social, or if you're using the iHeartRadio app to listen, hit that talkback button, and you'll be able to send me a voicemail, which I just may play right here on the show. All right, that's it for this week. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up with spooky season here. I will talk to you soon. I love ya. We out.
Thank you for listening to Pop Culture Weekly. Hear all the latest at popcultureweekly.com.
I'm a hobbit boy in a hobbit world. I'm a hobbit boy. Are you a hobbit girl?